We all know what grief is like. We've all felt it. We've all known what it's like to just want to stay in the bed in the morning rather than get up and face the reality of what's in front of us. But we get up anyway, and we put on our happy face, and we go about life trying to act like things are as normal as they can be. But in reality, we carry that grief with us. Well, in John chapter 20, that's where Mary is. Jesus has been crucified. He's been laid in the grave. In chapter 20, verse 1 of the Gospel of John, it says, "Now on the first day of the week, Mary Magdalene came to the tomb early while it was still dark." Did you catch that? It was still dark. So that's an interesting little detail that's placed there. And John gives it to us for a reason. And it's not just a note about the hour of the day. No, Mary's walking in darkness, certainly the darkness of the day, but also the darkness of her grief. She's watched Jesus die. She saw them take his body down. He's been buried. As far as she knows, he's dead. The story is ended. I mean, she's not coming to the tomb that morning expecting to find anything but the lifeless body of the man she once believed would be her Messiah. I mean, she expects to find the gravestone still in place. And then she gets there and things are not at all like she expected. The stone, well, it's already gone. And so what does that mean? That means God has been at work before she ever arrived. Before she ever understood it, before she had language to express it, before she had any reason to think that that morning would be any different, God had already moved. Hey, if you find yourself today carrying the kind of grief that Mary did that morning, I want you to remember a few things. Remember this. God is at work before we know what he's doing. So Mary comes to the tomb full of grief, thinking nothing's changed, but she's wrong about it all. She's not walking up to a sealed grave. It's already opened. She thinks her story's over, that death has already won. But in reality, the resurrection, it's already happened. God's already defeated death, but she doesn't know any of this yet. And that's what makes this scene so striking. That God didn't wait for Mary to understand before he acted. No. God moved first. And that matters because a lot of us assume God's only working when we can track what he's doing. I mean, when we can see God moving, well, we feel a lot better about what he's doing. But when we cannot see that movement, we start to wonder whether he cares at all. And Mary couldn't see it yet. Still, though, the greatest work God could have done for her and for the rest of the world, for all of time, was already done before she ever saw a glimmer of it. And here's an important insight that comes from that. Okay? God often begins his work, and for that matter, completes his work in the darkness. Notice that John says this happened on the first day of the week. Now, he's not just marking the calendar here for us. The first day. Okay, that's echoes of Genesis, right? In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. And in the beginning, God spoke light into darkness. And now, on the first day, the beginning of this new week in the garden, he's doing it again. We're to picture this as the new creation breaking in and taking over this old, sinful, broken world full of pain and heartache. And it starts while it's still dark. That's often the way God works. He doesn't always wait until the sun is up for us to see everything clearly. A lot of his work begins while we're still confused, we're still grieving, we're still unable to see very far ahead at all. Some of you know exactly what that feels like. You're walking right now through some unfinished pain. Maybe it's a prayer that you've kept praying, but nothing has come, questions that you have that you've not gotten any answers for. Well, Mary would understand that. She walked into that kind of mourning, yet there she was, standing in the middle of a miracle that she just hadn't yet recognized. And that brings up one last insight about grief that we need to ponder. And that's this. Grief can keep you from recognizing what God's doing right in front of you. See, Mary comes to the tomb and sees that the stone's been taken away. And her first thought is not, hey, he's been resurrected, just like he said, because he had said it. He had mentioned that this would happen and he would be resurrected on several occasions before it actually happened to his disciples. But she didn't assume that's what happened. Her first thought is loss. She assumes somebody has taken the body. Why does she assume that? Well, it's because that's how grief works. Grief doesn't just make you cry. It shades everything you look at through its lens. When you look through grief, you usually expect the worst. You expect more disappointment. I mean, it can make you stand in front of clear evidence of God's power and still feel like all you have are reasons to weep. And that's why the hope in this passage is so precious to us. Jesus was alive, even while Mary was still misreading the moment. Now, I don't know what moment that you're walking through or reading right now, but I've got good news. Jesus is still alive in it. And just because you don't understand the moment, it doesn't change that fact. Mary's confusion did not change the fact that Christ was risen, and yours won't either. Our inability to recognize what God is doing does not change the fact that He indeed is doing it. He's doing it, and that matters because there are moments when your grief will tell you a story that's not the whole story, right? So let me ask you, where in your life does it still feel dark outside? Is there something that you're grieving about, something maybe that you're waiting on, something that you want to change that has not changed yet, even though you've brought it to God many times? It may feel like you're walking toward a sealed tomb. God's word reminds us that God can be at work long before we recognize it. Mary walked into the dark, and in the dark found the miracle was already there. Hey, take a moment today and write down just one place in your life that still feels uncertain, and then pray this: Lord, I cannot see what you're doing here yet, but I trust that you are already at work. You don't have to feel strong in this moment. You don't have to feel like everything makes sense. Just bring your sorrow to the Lord and remember that He is doing right now more than you know. Hey, that's today's devotion. I'm Bradley Rushing, the pastor of Mount Gilead Baptist Church. If you're in the Dothan area, I invite you to come and worship with us this Sunday morning. And this Sunday is Resurrection Sunday. So whether you are here with us at Mount Gilead or not, make sure that you are somewhere worshiping the resurrected Lord. And take this truth with you, walk with the Lord today, and I'll see you again soon.